everybody, thanks for joining me for Quick Tip Thursday. This is Nicole with Topaz, and today's session is all about how to create dramatic and dark skies. Creating dark, rich, and dramatic skies in your black and white images is very, very easy within black and white effects, and there are several tools that you can use to get those types of skies. So we're going to be going over a few of those tools here today and using a couple images in a couple different situations where some tools will work well and some tools won't. So that's why we have multiple tools for you. All right. This is the image that we'll use first. This is an image that I took in Panama over the holidays. And at this stage, I did a few things already to get it ready to go into black and white effects. So to show you the original image, let's see here, hold on one second. Here is the original image. And then I did a lens correction and I did some more work in ACR and did my spots, and then I went into clarity. And I like to get a little boost of contrast before I go into black and white effects. So that's why I have all of this going. Let's go ahead and make a quick copy. I'm just going to press Control-J and get a new copy of that layer and just say black and white effects. Take that on in, filter, Topaz Labs, black and white effects. I thought when I saw this image that getting a really dark and dramatic sky with a lot of contrast with those clouds would be perfect for this type of image. Let me go ahead and press reset all over here on the right hand side so we get to just the gray scale image. The easiest way to get dark and dramatic skies is to come up to the quick tips or the quick tools over here on the right side of your interface, and you'll see these little dots. And what those are presets for your color filter tool that's in the conversion part of the workflow below. But to quickly open that up and see if this works for you, you can just say apply a red filter or an orange filter. And usually those two filters will give you, if you have a blue sky, a really dark, rich sky for the blue color, and it'll actually usually pop out your clouds as well. And that is how, whenever we took images with film, or if you still use film, that this simulates a traditional red filter that you would actually put on your lens if you were shooting in black and white film to get those dark skies. Now, one thing about using a filter is it doesn't, or it will affect more than just the tone. So what a red filter will do, let's go ahead and choose that. We'll go with red. Okay, and then I'll just take my strength way up. Whenever you click on those quick tools, it'll pop open the tool that it actually controls, so you can come in and just make that a little bit darker. But if I scroll in or look at the bottom of the image towards the city, I notice that not only has my blue sky gotten much darker along with the water itself, but there's also some brightening down here, and that's because a filter simulation will brighten some colors and darken some others. So any reds or more warm tones it's going to make brighter, and then any of blue tones it's going to make darker. So saying that, let's go ahead and reset all. If you want to only affect the blue color in your image and not affect any of the other tones, color sensitivity is the next tool that will be able to help you. So if you just turn that on, just come down to your blue slider and take that to the left. And then your cyan, if it doesn't go as much as you want. And that's going to really take the blue color in your image, so if you have a blue sky, and make it significantly darker that quickly. But what if you're at this color sensitivity tool and you take your cyan and your blue all the way down, it's not dark enough, but you don't want to use the color filter? I have a burn brush here in my local adjustments that can help out. So in the local adjustments, you have several different brushes, and burn is one of them. And burn simulates the burning or darkening of tones in your image. So I'm just going to click on the burn tool. I'll leave my overall strength like that. I'll take my brush size way up. I'm going to take it all the way up. I'll take my opacity, well, I'll probably leave that at about 0.2. Hardness all the way down, and edge aware, this is important, all the way up. Now with the edge aware turned up to 1, I can just keep the crosshairs of my brush on the color that I want to darken, which in this case is going to be the blue sky, and just make sure not to go into the clouds with that middle of my brush, and I can quickly come in and just darken those areas that I need to, and it's not going to affect the clouds around it. So that quickly I was able to darken the sky a little bit more. Now if it's not dark enough, you can continue with your brushwork, or you can take this overall strength and take that up just a bit. And here's before and after. So that's just a way to get it a little bit more dark. Let's see here. I want to go ahead and take in another image as well, just to kind of show you an example of when that color filter really doesn't work, because in this particular image, it's kind of nice. It really adds some beautiful contrast to the city. So let's press cancel here. And I'll go into this image that I took in Kansas, in Lindsborg, Kansas. It's called Coronado Heights. It's a little castle out in the middle of nowhere. But it's this image, let's see here. This layer that I'm on right here has been taken into clarity as well first, to really get some nice, and detail, to get some nice detail out of this texture. And now we'll go into black and white effects. And my first step is usually to click on the, let me press reset all here, click on the red or orange filter if I'm looking for that more infrared type of sky. But this is a perfect example of it affecting the rest of my image in a way that I do not want. So I love what it did to the sky, but because I chose the red filter, it's going to take all of these red tones that were in my castle and in the grassy area and brighten those while darkening my blues, and that is not what I want. So the orange does it even a little bit more. So this is an example where that color filter just isn't going to work for me. I'm going to go ahead and click that off. And we'll go into the color sensitivity and work with the individual blue and cyan sliders there. So let's say we're at this point, and I love what's happening in this upper left corner, but I want all these clouds to be a little bit more dramatic and pop out and get really contrasty. There are a couple tools here that you can use to kind of get that very contrasty, dramatic sky that you might be looking for. The first is going to be the adaptive exposure. If you just click that on, it's going to do some really interesting things to your whole image, and I really like the adaptive exposure. You can open it on up and really push this adaptive exposure in regions to get a lot of the detail and exposure stretched, and you can really do some interesting things. But sometimes you don't necessarily want to get an HDR type of an effect. So if you just want to increase the contrast of your whites and then maybe make your darks a little bit darker, you can, I'll go ahead and keep this particular adaptive exposure on and still come up to the basic exposure. You can come and work with your boost blacks and boost whites, and these two tools within the basic exposure will also help you create some drama and contrast in that sky. So you can come in and just say boost blacks to the right, and it's going to take all the tones within your image and take, or not all the tones, the darkest tones within your image and push them closer to black. Same idea with boost whites. You can boost that and really pull out some of those whites and get some beautiful contrast quite quickly. If you are concerned about clipping within your highlights, I wouldn't be so concerned about blocking up the blacks in this scenario, because you are trying to get this really dark black sky sometimes if you're going this dramatic. But with the whites, you don't want to clip the whites. So one quick tool that you can use to help you with that is to come up to your zone system area. To get into the zone system view, you just click on this Z up here in the upper right of the preview area. It's going to pull in, or it's going to open up the zone system tool. I'm going to click off of zone 5 and just click on zone 10 to make sure that as I boost my whites even higher, I don't clip anything. And you'll be able to see as I continue to boost those whites, the areas that are starting to clip here in this zone 10 are going to show up. So I'm just going to take that back down until all those little red diagonals disappear. Now I know those whites are there in zone 9, but they're not zone 10 where there's not any information there. All right, so those are the tips I have on creating dramatic and dark skies very quickly within black and white effects. And there's several different tools that can help you get the effect that you're after. I hope that was helpful. Take care. Bye-bye.